Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And I'm here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the editor of the Downey Patriot. And you're watching Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric.
We got that down good by now.
We did. It only took us a year.
It only took us a year. By the way, congratulations, a year.
It's been a whole year.
It's been a whole year for this podcast and Talking Downey, and we were looking it up the other day. We got over 17,000 views, and goal next year is 170,000. We're gonna.
That's a big jump.
It is a big jump, but we're gonna blow it up because it's going. Our listeners seem to like what we're doing. We're gonna get more creative next year, but anyways.
And you know what I love is that we're getting comments from people who are commenting on what we're talking about and what's happening in Downey. I feel like people are getting educated on what's happening.
Yeah.
It's really good content. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, and we do it conversationally on there. And we've been, hopefully, we're obviously, it's what you want to hear, but share some more information with us. Let us know what you want to hear. So I also want to congratulate you on the Downey Patriot, celebrating 20 years of the Downey Patriot. Congratulations.
Thank you. I we have a prop. We have the hot off the presses. This is this week's Downey Patriot newspaper. No, thank you. I wrote something in this week's issue about it. The Downey Patriot started in 2002, and really quickly, I wrote this in a story, but I get this question a lot, like, why do you call yourself the Downey Patriot? You know, if you think back in early 2002, where the country was, it was just a few months removed from the September 11th attacks. Right. This whole country was really united. You remember how united the country was. And being a patriot was really kind of it was a great thing. You know, people, you were proud to call yourself a patriot. Now it kind of has like some political undertones to it. But John Adams, the founder, the first editor of the Downey Patriot, you know, he was a true blue American, and he was really proud to be an American. So when he started the Downey Patriot, he started his newspaper. He called it the Downey Patriot, and that's how it's been there the whole time.
Well, I tell you, it's been the mainstay in our city. You haven't made it unless you've been in the Downey Patriot, and we always look for it. I know how to cheat and go online at 4 o'clock on Thursdays before the Friday edition comes out, but it's always fun. You've done an amazing job. I've always thought that having the Downey Patriot has always been one of the things that we have done in the city of Downey, that you have done, and Jenner, the publisher, that keeps everybody honest. You know, from the city council, we haven't had scandal because even though you and I were friends when I was on the city council, if I would have done something wrong, you would have called me on it. It would have been in the paper on there. You do that. You have the honest integrity of journalism there. So I've always felt that you were the watchdog. And most good communities have a good watchdog, have the local press like you have. And I think in some of the surrounding cities, if they would have had those avenues to let the people involved know, I think it might have been a different issue.
Yeah, you know, we're lucky that people read the Downey Patriot, people support it. And, you know, we also have lots of contributors from the community who volunteer their time and who give so much, you know. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Lorraine Parks, and she does the poetry. She goes to community events, and I hope she doesn't. I don't think she listens, but she's over 90 years old, and she does this, and because she loves, it's a labor of love, and it's, you know, we have other people who just contribute photos and stories, and it's a true community paper. We're far from perfect. The Patriot is far from perfect, but it does, you know, it tries its best. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I was so happy a couple of weeks ago because Eric, of course, is a journalist, and so is Alex Dominguez. I found a typo. I was so not happy. I shouldn't say I was happy for it, but I was able to call him. But it was one of those things that the Patriot had already gone, and all you could say, "Oh well, darn," you know. Yeah. But it was like, no, this couldn't be. It was on the Thursday online edition of it, so I felt bad for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate when you point it out. That's fine.
Anyways, congratulations to you and your whole team over there. You know, Alex, Jennifer, of course, the owner of the Patriot, and I know you guys are moving to Downey downtown Downey.
We are.
Where all the happenings is happening.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll have a ribbon cutting at some point.
Yeah.
But no, the Patriots moving to downtown Downey early 2023.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be our last show, obviously, for this year. We're taping this on Friday, December the 30th. A couple quick things we found out. Downey has an amazing rose float that will be in the parade. So if you happen to listen to this before, look for the Downey. It makes you proud, when it goes by there on the TV. Community built, a lot of people out there volunteering right now, putting flowers as we speak. It'll be the 59th thing out of 80.
Out of 80,
out
yeah.
of 80 and stuff like that. So look towards the end of the parade. Every year they switch. Like one year we're in the top 10, and then the next year we're at the back, front, back on there. So I wrote it once, and we were towards the front. And my 15 seconds of Andy Warhol fame thing. So I was writing on the piano. We were making the turn, and the stealth bomber was late that morning. So of course, Channel 5 was the standard then, right?
It still is.
It still is. So you want to be on the Channel 5 thing, and
Yeah.
I was on the camera side. So we're turning, and as soon as it comes around, oh, here's the Downey float. Oh, the sub bomber was late, and they hold it up, and that was it. It was like 1 second of us being on the TV out there. So
Oh, that's bad timing.
yeah, it's okay. It's long. It's 7 miles, and
Yeah.
at my age, I need a portable potty to go with me on there.
I've
so.
always wondered what it would be like to ride on the float. And I remember, the Rose Float used to do a raffle where you
Yeah.
could,
Yeah.
win an opportunity.
Right.
And actually, Alex Dominguez,
Right.
that's how he rode on
Yeah.
the float
Yeah.
float one day.
It was a once in a lifetime experience. It's 7 miles is a long ways to go a Smiley.
Yeah.
7 mile. And what happens is you have all these grandstands. You don't see it on TV. You only see the one at the turn there. But all of a sudden you have a grandstand that's got 40 rows up, a lot of people. So you're waving and you're on there, you think, okay, that's it. So you go a couple feet more past the grandstand, you finish, and then you're like, there's another one.
Yeah.
It's 7 miles is a long ways to
That
go.
is a long ways.
At 4 miles an hour kind of thing. So it was beautiful. It was a great event. I got in trouble, I think, for throwing a couple of flowers to people when we were stopped, but that's another story. But anyways, watch it. The Downey Rose Float Association. We thank you. We appreciate what you've done now since 1952. We're really proud. You make our city proud. Community built, community volunteers, and one of only 7,
Yeah.
I think, that's in the.
And if you want to check out the float in person, it's going to be parked at the Embassy Suites, starting I believe Wednesday. It's going to Tuesday or Wednesday, but early next week it'll be. If you want to check it out, you can buy some flowers.
Yeah.
Support the Rose Float.
Good. Thanks for that. Okay, so a lot of stuff happening. Let's stay with the positive things on there.
Yeah.
Eric, I saw you in a meeting here the other day. I know you've been helping the Downtown Downey Improvement Association on there, and you guys with the executive director, Hans, and a couple other folks. A night market is coming to the city of Downey in early February. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I only played a small role, but I was happy to help. And no, it's exciting. We're gonna have, I say we, but Downtown Downey is going to have a twice monthly night market starting February 9th. It's gonna be more than 40 vendors. Local vendors, with selling craft or clothing. There's going to be a couple of food trucks. It's all very family friendly, pet friendly. It's going to be on Downey Avenue between 2nd and 4th Streets. The street's going to be closed. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come on out, night market. And
I think it's like 5 to 9, something like that.
5 to 9
5 to
p.m.
9
We've been. It's something that Downey's been talking about for a while to bring a night market type of component, almost like a farmer's market kind of, but a little bit different, but at night, where you can kind of be walking outside under the stars, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
Right.
Will you be there?
Of course I will. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, you guys have been working really hard on it. I came into the office here the other day, and they had a big meeting about it. So
you know why you need to be there? Because I remember I was there when the farmers market on the very first day, the very first farmers market, and getting the farmers market was a whole it was a lot of work.
It was.
And at the very first one on Downey Avenue, you were there. I was there. You were there.
I was on the council, and Dave Gaffin and Kirk Kartosian, and we did the ribbon cutting right there.
remember.
Yeah, we convinced Portals to come and have a little table too, and it was on the side there. So yeah, no, I was there.
So you need to be at the first night market.
I will definitely be. I'm a downtown Downey guy, so this has been one of my passions and loves. So. Okay, so we got to get into things happening down here. This is a little mishmash show. We want to talk about different things that have been going on. It started already because the sample ballots just went out.
Yeah.
The recall in the city of Downey, historic, the first one ever. We wanted to make this a little bit light show, so we didn't want to talk too much politics, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is. Ballots went out today. This is only for residents of District 3, City of Downey. When is the recall election?
The election will be January 31st, and it's not an election for recall and then who's next. It's just an up or down. Do you want to recall
Catherine
Alvarez on there? And it's a yes or no question. And the ballots are going out. I saw some of the signs already. It's been community driven. It's not any particular groups. It's not any particular, I got blamed for, being a real estate mogul when I don't own any property in Downey besides my own house, by Catherine Alvarez. But it's not driven by anybody except the residents of the city of Downey, especially District 3. They want new representation. So all it is to vote in or out based on her criminal record. And in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to start seeing more. So maybe we're going to
see a lot. I think.
We're going to see a lot more. So I think our first show in January, we'll do more specific and talk about that. But January 31st, recall for Catherine Alvarez. Again, it's historic because in our 60-year history of incorporation and 150 years of our city being around, we've never had that. We've never had a recall that's actually on the ballot. So
right.
Yeah.
We'll see how it turns out. I mean, I know we're going to make our own predict. I'm on the record saying that I think she's going to be recalled. The movement to get her out of office is just kind of tremendous. And I think if anybody's going to vote in a special election, it's going to recall her. It's not going to be to keep her in office. I could be wrong, but that's my analysis, and I don't know. We'll see.
She's been divisive since day one, and I think you're right. I predicted that too. But got on the ballot that it'll be a recall on there, and I think they even got their own hashtag, Operation Restore Order, and I think that's happening with the election that just passed. And I think with the openings and the next two, So anyway,
we'll keep an eye on it.
We'll keep an eye on it. We'll talk about it next on there. So. Talking about the city of Downey, I don't want to end with this, but I want to talk about it, and then we'll go on. A terrible tragedy that just happened a couple of days before Christmas, so I do want to touch on it. A mom and living next door to grandmother, and she has 4 kids. A fire broke out at grandmother's house, and grandmother was on fire. And she got all the kids out of the house, but one of them was left inside, the 12-year-old. So mom, being the motherly instincts like all parents, she went back into the house to get her 12-year-old daughter. And unfortunately, she passed away from smoke and other things there inside. And then the day later, the 12-year-old passed away. So just this tragedy that pulls at your heartstrings on there. I can give you the first names on there. The mom's name is Vanessa, and Kayla is the daughter. So the one thing I can tell you that from the city of Downey, the love, the compassion, the passion of trying to help these folks at least get them through the last weekend. We had meetings at the Downey police station and trying to figure out how to get them some clothes, some food, a place, and the whole thing. So God bless them, and I just want to say to the Downey community, first of all, to this family, we're still helping them through the process because this will never go away. Obviously, and her sister, which is 11 years old, her birthday's coming up next week. So just on there. But the only reason I wanted to bring it up because it's such a terrible tragedy in our community has come together to say we love you. You're one of our own. You're touched by this, and we're not going away. We'll do whatever we can to help. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it. You said it perfectly, and it's it's hard to talk about, but
Yeah.
I know you and me both have been in communication with different people, the police union, and seeing the community really come together to help the family was, I think, the only bright spot in all of this, because it showed the Downey community wanting to help. And there's 3 different GoFundMe pages, and the community just wants to help. And it's a tragedy made much worse because it happened a few days before Christmas.
Right.
And it's just it's heartbreaking. I think we'll learn more about the family and ways that we can help going forward. When this happened, I think the initial intent was to help the family get through Christmas and just make as much as you can. And now, they have to deal with funerals and, I can't even imagine.
The grieving process.
The grieving process.
Is hard. And they're still, anyways, there's 2 things that I want to bring out from that. Number one is, so when I went back to the station, we were meeting with the kid's father there in a good way and giving him some.
Because you're a chaplain.
Because I'm the chaplain with the Downey Police Department. So I go into the lunchroom with the police station and hear the police association led by Ralph Diaz and several other officers. Here's these big tough cops with their guns and uniform, and they're literally wrapping presents to give to this family that they went out an hour earlier to buy, and the police association and wrapping presents. So that was touching and emotional and beautiful. Later on too, with the sister that was there, the 11-year-old, we have a police chief, Leslie Murray, celebrating 1 year being our chief. She's been with us for, well over 20 some odd years. A nice lady, and she's the leader of our police department. I've been out with her for tragic calls for many, many years. And I don't think she'll get mad at me for saying this. She might. But so when we were there in the conference room with the dad and the 11-year-old and so forth, and then the chief, later on, I could see her, her motherly instincts took over. Okay, here's this police chief that's obviously dealing with, police law enforcement. You have to be tough and you have to be rational and all these other things on there. But she's also a mom. I know her. I know some of her kids and so forth. So she took the little 11-year-old. She goes, "Hey, you want to get a tour of the police station?" And I saw her walking around while we're dealing with her father and dealing with all the other things. And here's the police chief of the city of Downey walking down the aisles with this 11-year-old and giving her a tour of the police station, kind of to take her mind off of things.
Yeah.
And then I saw her in the corner sitting there talking with her and so forth. So later on I told her, I go, "Chief, I hope I don't offend you by saying this, but your motherly instincts took over, and your mom, and God bless you and appreciate it." Because these days you don't want to insult anybody by calling them a mother, because especially when the police work. But it was a beautiful moment, and I appreciate it. And I want our folks to know that we have compassionate, strong, beautiful people running our police department and part of it in our community. I felt a lot of love. I'm still feeling a lot of love. I have her grandfather's coming in later on this afternoon here, and so thank you to the city of Downey. Please keep praying for Vanessa and Kayla's family and her 18-year-old, 17-year-old, and 11-year-old sister. 18 and 17 are brothers, and 11-year-old sister, and they'll always be touched by this. So.
Yeah, we'll be praying for them for sure.
And then, so Eric, coming up 2023, okay? What are your thoughts coming up for not only the city of Downey? We've kept our city of Downey. We're going to stay away from politics. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do something later. And we're doing things. Our show is about Downey. It's Talking Downey. We're going to try to keep it. Of course, we're not immune to other things that happen in the world that affect Downey. So we'll keep in touch with that.
Yeah.
But for next year, Eric, what are your thoughts about Downey? What's going to happen here?
Well, I try to. Well, no, I'm not an optimist, I guess, but I'm optimistic about Downey and what's going to be happening. I think Downey is trending in the right direction. I think there are good things happening in Downey, and I think it all. You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited, and this is kind of boring, but I'm excited about the next city manager because I've heard of a couple of names mentioned. I don't know who the city council is going to select, but if they select a good city manager that can get Downey, kind of back on track, I'm excited about that. Because if you look over the past 5, 10, 15 years, Downey's made a lot of progress. It's really evolved into a nicer community, and I want to see that continuing. Right now, Downey's kind of stalled a little bit. Right. I want to see it continue to grow, and I think it is going to happen. Right. I'm optimistic in that regards.
I think everybody's kind of holding their breath.
Yeah.
That hashtag Operation Restore Order is in play.
Yeah.
I think you got January 31st, and then you got the city manager and all kinds of different things. You got new leadership. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. It's weird to think, because everybody always wants to live in the past. I get it all the time on there. Oh, back in the 70s and 80s when I grew up and this and that. And I get it. We've moved up and out. And I mean, people here in the city want different things. We all want the stability, the good times on there, and we're nostalgic about it. But on there, it's so funny for me. I don't want to go back to then. I want to go back to like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we can get there, okay? And I think it starts with January 31st. It starts with the recall. We have a new vacancy. It's one of your stories, this week's story about the new vacancy on there. It's so funny, I'm watching you, and you're kind of like holding the paper. The page. Kind of like, okay.
I play with it.
The daddy on there stroking
I caress
the paper.
it.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I would
you
put out a good product. You put out a good. Anyway, so I agree with you. I think 2023, we got some exciting things. We got some new economic development thing. I can tell you 4 places are getting ready to open up that are going to be exciting. I can tell you that we have some other news to share with you that we'll share in 2023. I'm excited about our podcast and things we're going to do it. I know Brandon, one of our new technical production folks, has been doing a great job and will continue to. So I think next year is going to be an amazing year for several ways. And I can't wait to share some of the good news for that.
No, me neither. We're both. It'll be fun to look back on this a year from now and kind of see what happened. And see if we were right, because we're both predicting good things for Downey.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, stay involved, stay with us, okay? And we'll be glad. We want to share. We want to share things that you're interested in, and some of the things we talk about are because of things that you've brought up to us, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and follow us on social media if you don't already. We do now have an Instagram. We're on Twitter. And we are on TikTok, LinkedIn.
Damn those communists. We don't care. The Chinese aren't going to invade us from this on there.
Yeah, I know. We're on Facebook, of course, and YouTube, wherever you listen to us. Follow us on social media. Interact with us. We want to hear from you.
Yeah. I got to tell this quick story. Yeah. My son, we had Christmas Day was at our house, of course, and so forth. So my son, my 31-year-old son, that has a job in San Diego. He works on elevators, and he's been driving there for 3 weeks, or actually longer than that. So from Lakewood, where he lives, to all the way to San Diego. So it's a 2-hour drive going and 2-hour drive every day, because he's got his dogs in Lakewood. So he comes home every day. So we were talking, and somehow it came up, the podcast. He goes, "What podcast's that, Dad?" I go, "Our podcast, your father's podcast with Eric." He goes, "What is that?" I go, "Look it up right now. Talking Downey with Mario and Eric." And he literally gets in his phone and he goes, "Oh my God, there's a podcast. You guys have a podcast." Like, dude, it's been a year. Okay?
He doesn't know about it.
He goes, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. I listen to podcasts it's a 2-hour drive each way." So he was all excited. So he's going back to a year now to catch up on it. But I just thought it was funny. My own son, and I think he's just busy and not paying attention, because obviously, I need to do a better job of sharing it.
That could be it.
One more viewer, and then he can share with 3 people.
Funny.
So you know what? That's interesting. I never thought about it. So go ahead and share this with others. Yeah. Let them know on there, and we want to hear from you. So,
anyway. Thank you, everybody, for support 2022. We're looking forward to 2023. Hope you have a happy new year and great things coming.
So God bless you. Thank you for listening to Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric.